All right, we'll go inside this application, and this is the screen that we have built. Perfect. So what we did till yesterday, we designed a screen, very simple screen, where we are putting the name, last name, and date of birth field, and we are capturing this value into a local variable. So if I say here something called Anil, and then here I'll say Kumar, and date of birth, suppose I select something, then I can see all those values are getting captured in my value parameter. Okay, now we have three buttons, like cancel is not required at all for now, because this is not a form which is going to be submit. So we can get rid of this button, but we have a search button and we have clear button. Okay, let's go with the clear button, which is very easy now. If you want to, like, suppose if user click on the clear, what should happen? It should become null, right? Whatever it is there, it should be become as it is. So how do we do that? Okay, so let's go to the clear button. So here we can see the clear button is designed. Okay, in this clear button, what we can do is there is a parameter called save into. It means whenever button is being clicked, what you want to perform, because if buttons are there to perform some action, right? So to perform some action or some calculation, whatever we need to do, what we need to do is there's a parameter called save into. Right, in the save into, we can perform multiple saves. Likewise, here we can give and write a directly, because here we are not doing any other save, right? But save into parameter is also allows you to perform multiple saves. So to perform the multiple saves, what we can use, there's a function called abang save, right? Abang save. So what you want to save? So in my local bank first name, right? Local bank first name, what I want to save? I want to save null. So save has two parameters, the target and the value. So in my target first name, I want to save null. Similar way, if I also want to save last name as a null, right? When user click on the clear button. So what I need to do, I need to perform local bank last name, and then I'll put null. Okay, in the same way, we have one more field, so I'll say a bank save local bank dob, put null, right? So what will happen now? If user click on clear, this all become null, and then it will go back to the initial screens. If I click on clear, everything becomes null, right? All values are null. Got it? Any doubt here in the clear button?
So Ravi, can we do this, from the graphical interface point of, or is it like always like, we need to write this code?
See, you can do that. Like if what you need to do, if we have declared these local variables, right? Now, if you go to the design mode,
yeah.
Okay, now click on this clear button here, right? You see there will be list of saves, right? If you explain it here, we can see the same code here.
Yeah.
Right. So why I'm showing you guys, like, from this code, so you can understand what is happening with the code, right? Because understanding the code is very important. Otherwise, you will, when you will see the code, because this is very simple interface, guys. You will not be, I mean, if you're going to work in your organization and see the bigger application, you will get confused what is going on there. So that's the reason we are going through the codes. Okay, perfect. All right. So
why are we calling it as interface?
Sorry.
Why are we calling it as interface?
We're not an interface, right?
Either system. No, this is just a Appian system itself, right? Appian application. That's what we are developing now from the scratch.
If you see this one, right, what is this one? This is an interface object. If you are designing any fields, right, that it will be visible to the user, that's an interface. Right now we are just designing it. We will incorporate this to the process model, where you can actually see through your application. So this is what we are building. So this is the interface object. That's why we are calling this interface.
Okay, thank you.
So we'll create multiple interface objects, and we'll create one. We'll combine them together to looks like a one complete form, as in the process. So, and that we will be used in the process model. When the process, we'll see the process. See, the topic process model and the interface topic is the ongoing topics. It will be going through from start to the end, because every point of time we need to design one interface and then this thing, right? So we will see much more layouts and all, everything we will see that. Okay, so
Yeah.
what, see in the how the best practice I can suggest, do not create all the objects into one code. It will be very huge. So design a code like, section wise, right? So it will be very easy to handle and easy to upgrade it whenever you need it, right? So what we'll do, we'll create one small section for like search, one section for, for the further processes and all, what's the for the request details, and then we combine it to the one interface, and then that interface we will merge with the process model, and then we'll see how it looks like into the application. Okay.
Ravi, this is
Yeah.
Prashant.
Mhm.
Yeah, Prashant Bhavani. Yesterday I missed the class, okay. But day before yesterday you were talking about this A-bank expression and all that, okay. Maybe I had to
Mhm.
catch up yesterday's class, but having said that, the way I see it, we have to learn this A-bank language, right? How exactly we have to pull up the drop-down list, how we have to handle text box, button, everything. I think we need to learn it. Is that correct, Ravi?
So that is what we discussed yesterday, Bhavani.
Okay.
So yesterday we designed one, you see all this interface we have designed. We have also seen the one of the text tool where we declare the local variables, and we see how the variables are being used, right?
Yeah, I understand. So yeah, that might be I missed that part, but what I'm trying to say is, end of the day, like how we learn Java language, right? If I was a .NET developer, I had to go and learn C Sharp .NET. C Sharp I had to learn.
Mm.
So likewise, is it mandatory for us to learn A-bang language, or any
No. You,
interface will
if you
pre-populate the
know,
code?
once you will start doing it, right, you will be able to do that by yourself. I mean, it's not that tough. There are very few
Okay.
things. It's like for the interface objects, right? If you see this for the interface things and all, right? The code we use,
Okay.
see, a bank is being used for the most of the things. It's a people
Mm-hmm.
function where you use a bank. For some of the functions, it is required fn, or even you don't put any name. So that is what it is, right? It's not lot of things are there like a bank, b bank, c bank. It's not there.
Okay.
It's
So
just
you are
few of
saying
the,
as
yeah.
we work, it will be easy. So
Yes,
every day
yes,
we are
yes.
doing hands-on. Okay.
Exactly. So for all the interface objects, we use a bank. For
Okay.
most of the function also, I mean, we use a bank like, and but for some of the functions like seasonal and all, we require fn. That's all. There's no
Okay.
lot of things,
Sure.
right?
Sure, Ravi. I'll practice, and
Yeah.
if in case I'm stuck, I'll ping you. Okay. Thank you.
Definitely, that is what I'm
Yeah.
asking you guys to do the practice at home.
Sure.
Like Raji has done it, right? She just created a drop-down field by herself. Then she got some questions she asked, right? So that is how it works. If I start putting everything in a session, it is not even going to complete in 3 months, right? All the fields, if I show you and everything. So that's the thing. You need to do the practice, and you have to come with the questions, because question answering is, very easy
Yeah.
to do
Agreed.
that. Yeah.
Agreed, Ravi. We also need to put effort. Yeah. I completely agree with that. Thank you.
Okay,
All
and
right.
just
So yeah.
yesterday also I missed that, but only one question. So, are we writing this kind of code on the left side from the scratch, or did you
Yeah.
guys drop
We
and
have.
pick and choose
So
and
we
pick
have
and drop
seen.
these fields?
So we have seen initially how do you design by doing the drop and down. Drop and down, we see the code and everything. We did some configuration, but we jump to the expression mode where we actually design this every code from the scratch. These all things we have created from the scratch. We haven't write it from the drop down.
Oh, that means almost 40 lines of code is there just for two fields here.
It's yeah, it looks like 73 line of code, but but it's like uh, it's very easy to do that while we are doing it, right? It wasn't very confusing. We decided what is the section layout, and then we decided what should be the columns layout, and how now what is the number of columns we divide. So it's like one column, two column, three columns we have divided. So you can see one column, two column, three column, and then most of the things are the copy pasted. Like text field was there, so text field I copy pasted, and then I just change the variables, right? So if you have missed the statistics session, please go through that, and then you will be able to
Okay.
catch up.
Yeah, definitely. But only thing is, I thought it's a really low code. But for example, in PeopleSoft, I'm coming from a PeopleSoft
Mhm.
background, and we will write 3 lines of code for this entire process. So
Hmm.
and we never do code for this kind of, for drag and drop of these fields, page design. That's a drag and drop part, and the system will be there, and we'll do very little validation part. So I expected the same here with the low code, but yeah.
So it is, I mean, yesterday when we designed the code from the drag and drop, right? And it has lots of code inside. So just to make you guys understand what is going on within the code, we are doing it from the expression mode, right? So yeah, I mean, you can do that from the design mode also, but the thing is that you will never know what is happening with the code. That's the reason we come up here. So like for example, so suppose I want to show you that when in the search result I want to display let's say a text field. So I just drag and drop the text field, okay, and then here I change the name as let's say name. I just keep the name, so it will change the name of the label here. Label position I can change, right? I want to make the label position as let's say adjacent, okay, so it will display it here. Or if I want to make it justified to the read only, so it will be justified like this. If you want to there is read only parameter checkbox, so check the checkbox, then it will become the read only. So if you want to have some so when condition, so we can put this. If you want to have some character limit, so we can do that. When do we unfocus, save into, if you are perfect, so everything you can configure from here. But the thing is that what is happening in the code, when you will if you need to fix some things in the code, right, you drag and drop will not work by that time. You have to jump into the code and you have to see what is going on actually, what's the logic is been written there, and you have to check the logic and then change it, right? So those are the things. If I go to the expression mode, you can see this checkbox has been created here, and it has this is a checkbox sorry, text field, and it has this number of code.
Okay, so that will also generate the code in the backend, and then whenever there's an issue and whenever there is an enhancement, we have to really go into the expression mode and try to change the code.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Okay. So we have seen the clear. So what we are doing, we are just clearing out the values whatever user has created. Now we also have the main functionality called search. So what should happen when user click on search? Whenever user click on search, it should return the value to the user based on the first name, last name, or the DOB user has given. So now you guys remember, right? We have created one query rule. So let's go to the query rule. And then in this query rule, we have all these details, right? Like first name, if whatever user will pass, last name, whatever user will pass, and this. So we do not have the DOB, right? Because we are also passing the DOB. So we have this DOB parameter created in our database, right? Let me go to the database. In case we have some values for data in the DOB. Yeah, we have DOB, right? Now, so what we can do, see how the things can be improvement. This was the, suppose this is the existing code which is available into the system, right? And then the new requirement comes on to you, right? On the search screen, please add a filter criteria for date of birth. So what you have done, you have designed this DOB, right? Now what you need to make some change, where you need to make some changes, you also have to add one query filter in your query entity. See what many people thinks that we have to create another query rule for the DOB, but no, you can improve the code here itself, right? So what we will do, we will create one more rule input to this query rule, and I'll say DOB, and this is going to be a type of date, right? And then whatever user will pass to this one, we will apply one more query filter here. So we'll say what we can do, we can simply copy paste this thing first of all. So field name is DOB. This field name, as I mentioned, this should be the same as your CDT name. So in CDT also I have given DOB, and it said equal operator, and the last name, the value will be RI bang DOB, whatever user is passing, and apply when it is not null. That's all. That's all we have to do. It's done. So if we are saying whatever user is passing the DOB, that should be the applied as an equal operator, and then here the things. So let me see what is the date of birth we have. We have, let's say, 24th of Feb 1999. So if you go here, we'll say 24th of Feb 1999, and then there you go. I'll say text rule. So we are getting this result 24th of Feb. So how complex you think it was? It was very, we just copy pasted and we created one more query filter, right? So this is how we can keep enhancing our query rule as well. We don't have to create multiple query rules for multiple requirements. So if it is possible to do it within one query, this is always good. You just create the rule input and pass it here, right? Okay, now one more thing, I'm not sure if I have shown you, instead of equal operator we can also make use some other operator that like the contains, right? That works just like the contains in the database. Now suppose I remember the name, it was Anil, but I forget the spelling. I just say A and I was there, and then I don't know the first what is the first, full name. I mean the first name, the all characters. So what we can do, instead of equal operator we can use includes operator. Okay, now what will happen if I say let me nullify this. Okay, and then I'll say A and I. Okay, and click on test. Now I get this result. Now do we have names in the same characters? Something A. See, we have A in all three, right? Now what we can do, if we have A all three, I'll just pass A and click on test rule. So it is giving me all the results. Why it is giving me all the results? Because A is available in all the places. Here also A is there, here also A is there, and here also A is there, right? So that's the reason. If you use the includes operator, it works as a a contains operator, is like operator in the database. So we can make changes for the same for last name also. Okay, so we have used the includes operator. Okay, let's save the changes. So this is the query rule is done. We have upgraded it by using the query filter for DOB. Okay, now let's go to the interface. On the save button, we are going to call that query rule, which will bring the data based on our criteria and save it to somewhere. So to save it somewhere, what we can do, we can declare one local variable. We'll say local bang. It can be a list, it can be multiple results. So we can say employee records. I just declared is a local employee records. Okay, so this is a variable which is going to have the values based on our search criteria. Now if I go here in the save into of the search button, what we are going to do is we will go for a save into. Okay, what we need to save, we need to save in the local variable local bang. What is the target? The target is local bang employee records. Okay, in this thing what I need to save, I need to call that query which will bring the data based on our criteria. So I will call that rule that we have created. So to call any rule from an interface or from another rule for another expression rule, there's a parameter, I mean there's a prefix called rule bang. That's all. Rule bang and the name of that rule. So what is the name of that rule? IMS underscore get employee. IMS underscore get. As soon as you start typing, it will give you the name. So I have this name. Now once I get this name, in below you can see it will show you the description. This rule has three parameters: first name, last name, column list, and DOB. If you remember, DOB just we have created, right? So all of these things are displaying here. It has first name, last name, column list, and DOB. I just copy this and then I just pass it here, just like the other parameters for the other functions we use, right? And then anyone can tell me for this first name what I need to pass? Guys, what do you think? What I need to pass it here?
A local variable.
Local variable. So that will be local first name, because we are capturing the first name in this variable, right? Similar way, local last name. For column list, I don't want to any filter for now, so I'll just say null. I don't pass any column list. And for DOB, we'll pass local DOB. Okay. So what will happen? Whenever user will click on search, it will call this rule, and whatever will be the result, that will get captured into your local employee records. Any confusion you are understanding what I'm doing it here? Any doubt, guys? So whenever you click on search button, this will query this rule and bring the information and put it into the local employee records variable. So now let me click on test. You see everything is null. I'll say first name is A. Okay, and we have seen that this new variable has been added within the local variable. So tell me, if I click on search, so first name has the A, last name is null, DOB is null. Now if I click on search, what will happen? Anyone can tell me?
Everything is gonna come up.
Yeah, so all the records which has A within it, if I click on search, now you see employee records is become expandable, and there are 3 records, right? If I go and I make as a AN, then you tell me how many records will be there.
One record.
0 records.
So only one record has a name as a first name Anil, AN is there, right? So we are getting 1 record. So it has been replaced by 3 to 1 records. If you expand this, it's only 1 records. Okay. Now if I remove this, now I want to get the result based on the DOB. So let's say one of the DOB was 1999, and then it was 24 Feb. So how many results will be there if I click on search?
One.
Just the one. So I mean, it's not required you have to pass all of the things. Why? Because we have given this condition apply when. This filter will only apply when there is a value. If you don't provide any value, this filter will not apply. This is the reason. If I give the first name, then also I will be able to get the result. If I pass the last name, then also I will be able to get the result. Okay, and then this is how we can call the rule, and then we can get the data from the database on the screen. So any doubt, guys? Yep.
This filter you have written under the search button, right? So when you click on the
Yes.
search button, it has to fire.
Exactly.
So you will be writing all the code in the same editor, and it will be firing based on the conditions, right? So it will not fire the entire code, right?
No. So whenever, see, that's what I mean, whenever you click on that search button, then this code will only get executed. Other code will remain as it is. It won't make any changes here. It won't load or something, increase or any load. So that's the thing of one of the Appian is that wherever you're clicking, wherever you're tapping, it will just refresh that particular section, not the other section.
Okay. Will be identified based on that label and right?
Yeah. So first of all, we created the query, and then we see that how to use that query in your interface label to get that information from the database. So this is how we are getting the information from the database. So any question, more question, guys, because there should be some questions, right? If you are not getting why we are passing this only these parameters, what is this, from where these parameters are coming? Right.
We're not displaying the results on the page, right?
Yeah, that's the next part. We'll do that. But for fetching, any questions?
So what is the normal button and secondary button?
I just commented the code, right? Give me 1 second.
Yeah.
See, this secondary buttons is to display on your left hand side. Primary buttons are used to display on your right hand side. Within the primary buttons or secondary buttons, you can design. I mean, we can put the style. So destructive is for the red, and then primary is for the blue, secondary is for the gray. These are the predefined colors we have. Yeah.
Okay, so those are like by default, those colors will apply.
Exactly. Yeah. So we don't need the cancel button, right? That's why I just commented the code. It's not required from us. Okay. Any more question, guys? How do we call this? Okay, so let's see do one thing. Let's say we are going to have a paragraph field. So I'll just search for the paragraph. I drop it here. Okay, and then here I want to display the value, and the value I can display is the local employee records, and then I will make as a read only. Okay. Yeah, that is what I want to do. I didn't write any code, right? I just did the configuration. I just changed the name as a result. Okay. Okay, and then yeah, let's see. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna the first name as an Anil, and then I click on the search. So you see, we are getting this data. We are displaying this data, but this is not a proper format. We'll come to the proper format. Basically, we need to display the data in the tabular form. Okay, so you see all those information that we have into the database are coming. We have employee ID, we have first name, last name, everything what we have created is coming up now. So we have done this thing, this code, right? We have designed one paragraph field, and then we are displaying the information into the read only. Now, if you go to the expression mode, what other things has been created inside the code? This many number of code has been created by itself. So it is displaying, saying that in the value we are displaying this local employee records, and this is read only true, so you cannot edit it, and then the name of the label and all. So we have designed, right? So this is how we can see the result here. Okay. All right. Now, any question, guys, here? Okay. So I mean, you know, whatever, even you do drag and drop, it also generates the code in the backend. You can go and check the code also, but it's always good to have to know the how the code is being designed, so you can actually work on that. All right, perfect. Now, as I said, right, we need to display the result into the tabular form. So we are going to see some new layouts that Appian provides you. So before I move there, any question on this search criteria? Any questions on the you know,
Yes.
calling rules and all? Yeah.
Yes, please. Yeah, for layout also, like by keeping this first name and the last name, search result button, such for these also, you have a code behind the scene. Is this developing a code?
Yeah, it is developing the code, right? I mean, let me show you.
Why do we need code for that?
We just created this paragraph field, right, from the drag and drop.
True. But my question is, why do we need code for these? Because it's a just we will never need a code for this. We can just manage the labels on online, right? Whatever we can drag and drop. For this, why
We need it, right?
Combining the code with a regular validation code?
So, yeah, validation we'll see first of all, but let's suppose it's a question like, why do we need the code? So I mean, this question
for the GUI changes,
go to the Appian. You can definitely go to the Appian to ask this question, why you are giving this code for a label and all, right? If you can configure the drag and drop. So I mean, how do I answer this question, like why do we need the code? But they gives the code, right, for your better understanding, like, you know, what is happening. Like suppose if you are working on the code itself, like you are putting the validation, right, and then you want to change the label as well. So you will first come to the validation and put the validation on your expression mode, then you will go to the design mode and change the label there. So Appian has given for your benefit, right? Either you want to change it from your design and drag and drop, or if you are inside the code, you can change it from there as well, right? It's not going to harm you anything. It's always going to be a privilege that, okay, you don't have to switch in the modes like expression or design to do the things, two different things. So yeah,
okay, thank you.
But this is how the Appian has been configured. That whatever they are doing the drag and drop, they also give you the code, so you can go and see, okay, what is happening inside and what kind of code is been written already. Okay, as we come up the part of the validation, so before moving to the before moving to the other layouts to display the information in the proper way, let's do something for the validations. Okay, so we'll start from the text field. Okay, the text field says that it should be the first name. okay, and then user can provide the first name, and then they can click on search. But what if user, instead of first name, they are passing some digits, right? I mean, it I mean, there's a possibilities that it may have 1 2 3, because like, if there are multiple users with the name of first name as a Ravi, then what company does, they put 1 and 2. But for learning purpose, if you want to see the validation, how do we do? We can put some validation, right? If user is trying to provide any number into the first name, then it should throw a validation saying that please provide a valid name, right? So how can we do that? So before moving there, we have a function call. Let me open that test rule, so I can explain you the what is the function. Okay, let me comment this code. We'll create one more role input here. I will say just to text one is a type of text. Okay, and we'll see this is a function called clean with. Okay, clean with. So what it does, right, whatever value you are providing, it is going to clean with that particular values. Let's say if I am providing the value Ravi01, okay, and then I say clean with has two parameters: the text what you want to clean, and the characters what you are cleaning with. So I provide ri bang txt1, and please clean with value from 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. It may contains the numbers. So this is the numbers that can have it, right? So now if I go and click on the test rule, you see this, it is giving the 0 1, so which will tell you that okay, this text has some number within it. So you will get it now. Okay, this is my point where I can throw the validation message to the user, because user has given number to this. Okay, so is there any question in the clean with function, guys? Because we are going to use this clean with function to our interface.
Yeah, can you explain again? Sorry, I lost it.
So in the clean with function, it has two parameters: one, the text that needs to be clean, and the second parameter with what you want to clean it. So I just created one text, I just pass it as a Ravi01, and then I've said okay, please clean the Ravi01 with the value 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. So if that, suppose if I say here, I'll say KUMR Kumar, or I'll say 987. Okay, so can anyone tell me what can be the output here?
987 01987.
It will have 01987. So it is cleaning all my text and bringing out all the numbers within it. It says okay, these are the numbers that
So it is
you
extracting
have.
the numbers out of the string.
Yes, it is extracting the numbers from the string.
So same way, if you want to extract only the text, then we need to change that regular expression to A to D, A to Z, something like that.
We have just comment this, and we have function called strip with. It has same parameters like text, ri bang text, and then let's say 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. So it is now giving me the only the characters what we have instead of numbers. Okay, so clean with and strip with, these are the two functions.
So if there are any special characters, so it has to strip numbers and also the special characters.
Yeah, if you want to, whatever you want to strip it, things you can put it here. Guys, just give me 1 second, I'm getting a call, please. Sorry. I have given the example of the numbers, right? Whatever you want to put, you can do that and you can try with that. Okay. Okay, so clean with and strip with. So there are two functions that we can have, and we can do the things accordingly. All right, now let's move to the code. Any questions, guys? Shall I move to the code?
Yeah.
Okay, so here I want to put the validation. What I want to put in the validation, I'll say if whatever user is trying to put, right? So like I'll say use clean with my local. Tell me, guys, what I need to put. Local what?
First name.
If my local first name, how do I know that it has numbers within it? I need to pass 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So if I put some values to my first name as a 0, 1, 2, right, then it will return me something, right? If it is going to return me something, it means that the length, if I check the length of this value, if I check the length of this input, is definitely going to be greater than 0. Making sense? This is my condition. I'm checking if my first name has some my numbers, then it will return some value to me, right? It will return 0, 1 or whatever number I will put it. And I'm checking on top of that, I'm checking is the output of this one is greater than 0 or not, the length. If it is greater than 0, then I can say, right, please provide valid first name, else null. Any doubt here? Any doubt in this condition, guys? What I have done?
Are we supposed to use a strip?
I mean, yeah, I mean, we can use both the things, which is
This
convenient
is
to
the
use,
first name.
right?
Rabi, what is the use of the length here? Means why
So
we use
length.
that?
So that's what I'm saying, right? If suppose I'm going to put some first name as using the some characters and the numbers as well. For example, I'll say Ravi 01, right? So what will be the output of this one? There will be some numbers, right?
Okay.
Right. So that will be greater than 0. The length of that number will be greater than 0, right? Like suppose we have okay, let me show you here. It will be more clear to you. Okay, so the clean with is going to return me what? Yeah, there was some noises coming. Okay. So you see what is the output of this clean with? It is going to give me the output if I am passing this thing, right? It is going to give me 0, 1 and 8, 7, right? This is the output of this function clean with. Okay. Now if I top up that, if I use my length function, and within the length function I close this length. This is what I'm just trying to implement there. If I put the length function of this output of this function, right, it is going to give me what? Can anyone guess what can be the output?
Five.
Oh, it should be 1.
Yeah. So because it is a text. It is not treating as a numbers. It is taking as a text. Now instead of length, yeah, there is a one function called len, L-E-N. Okay. Now if I click on that, then it is giving me 5. So length works for an array and len function works for an text. So if you click on this function, right, you will be able to return the length in the characters of the text. So if you want to use the length, or if you want, you can use the len function to get the number of text. which is going to always be greater than 0 because it has some number. If it does not have any numbers, now let's see if I remove this number. I'll just put space and then click on test roll. So you tell me guys what is going to be. It is 0, right? So this is the condition I wanted to apply here. So that is the reason I've come here, and then let me see here. Okay, I'll just use the len function because it's a text. So if I use the len function, right, and then we'll say if my len is greater than 0, then please provide this message. Please provide a valid name. Otherwise, null. Don't provide anything. Okay. Okay. Now, all these things to be applied. All these things we need to do, perform. When? Can you go on mute? Whenever you need to ask question, please ask that, unmute and ask it. Thank you. Okay, so all this condition needs to be applied when? If there are certain values into the first name. If there is no value into the first name, then we should not do this validation, right? If there is no value in this first name, then do not do any validation, because all of the functions require some value. So you see this one, it is saying that, okay, it is also important to learn the error message so you can understand. So it also says that the function clean with a null parameter has been passed as a parameter 1. So all those functions, clean with, length, they require something to within it, right? If you don't pass anything, then it will say please pass something. So here, yeah, so here we can say, right, if my first name does not have any value, it means user has not provided anything. Do not call this if condition at all, right? So what I can do, I can say if is null. What is null? Local bank first name is null, do nothing else, do all this calculation. So I cut it and paste it here. Understand? Any doubt here, guys?
So can you say it again?
Yeah,
Means
sure.
a condition I'm not getting that.
Yeah, sure. So any doubt in this condition? Any doubt in this condition, guys? I mean, what I have done here, I'm just trying to say, okay, whatever user is going to provide as the first name, right? Suppose they have provided some numbers to it. Okay, so what will be the output for this one? That will bring out that number to you guys. Okay. Okay, let's debug this thing. Have you clear? I mean, understand this part? Guys, have you understand this part?
Yes.
Okay, so whatever user is passing from here, right? I'll just add some numbers to it, right? Okay. Okay, I'll ask the questions then, right? If I say clean with, and I'll pass RI bank text, and I'm going to clean with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. Sorry, who did ask the question before?
Me, Sri.
Yes, Sri. Okay. All right, Sri. So you tell me what is going to be output for this one?
4. Oh, for that is gonna be 0, 1, 2, 5.
Yeah. So Sri, can you tell me what can be the output of this one?
0125.
0, 1, 2, 5. Fine. Now, in the top of
Yes.
this one, I'm using len function. That is called len function. Okay, that was on the text. If I say len function, now you tell me what is the output of this one?
4.
That is correct. Okay, this is 4. Now you will understand that your text that you are passing has some numbers. If it is greater than 0, right? If I say this len is greater than 0, now, so will it be returned true or not? False.
True.
it is going to return true, right?
Yes.
So if it is returning true, it means what? Your text has some numbers.
Yes.
Right? Now if I remove this number and I use the same function, nothing changed here, you tell me what is going to be output if I click on test?
It is false.
It will be false. It means your text does not have any numbers.
Number. Yes.
Right? So clear till
Yes.
here?
Yes.
Okay. Now what I was saying here is, so this is what is going to be. Close this. So this is what is going to be. If your first name has a number, then this len function will say true or false. So this is the condition we have given. If this is true, it means if your text has some numbers, then we are going to display this message, please provide a valid first name, otherwise null. Okay, so
Yes.
this is the condition. Any doubt till here?
No.
Okay, perfect. Now there's a certain functions, right? The clean with or len, these are the functions that we have used. This requires some value. If there is no value, it will break. So that's why we are making sure we are checking a null condition. If my first name is null, then do not do anything, otherwise do something. So if I say this condition, right, if my local first name is null, if I haven't provided any value, so what it will return, true or false?
It is false.
It
is
does not
false.
have any value. No, because I do not have any value. So is null function will
Gonna
say
be
true,
null.
right? Yeah, this is with true, right? Because it does not have any value.
Okay.
Right, so if it does not have any value, then this statement will become true, right? If this statement is true, then it won't do anything. It's just null. It won't do anything. If this is not true, it means the first name has some value within it, then it will do this for this calculation. It's just we are restricting the user to perform some calculation only if it has some value. Clear?
Please
Still, if
commit
you have
again.
doubt, you can.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, if your first name local variable does not have any value, then skip this validation. Do not do anything. Just pass
Yes.
null.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So that is what I'm checking. So if my first
Yes.
name is null or not, if it is null, then null. Nothing do. Do not do anything. If it has certain values, then only do all this calculation.
Okay. Okay. Yes.
Okay. Clear to everyone?
Yes.
Any doubt? Okay. Perfect. Now I'm just going. Yeah. Go ahead.
I have one question actually out of this context. So I'm still having confusion with if statement. So to what part it has to consider as if and what it has to consider as else. Okay, I'm still having that doubt actually. So
Okay.
if the is null is
Let me clear that one, then we'll proceed, because it's very important to understand. Okay, if has three things. If condition has three things. The first is called condition.
yeah.
Okay, and then second, after comma separated, the second thing is called true part. And then the third thing is called false part. Okay, here the first in the first line we provide the condition. Second comma separated is going to be true part, and third comma is the third part is going to be a false part. That is the else part. Okay.
Yeah.
So there are two commas, right? Now if you see here, it says condition valid if true, value if true, value if false. All right.
Yeah.
Now I'll just say, now you tell me, if I say 4 is greater than 3, then A, then B. Now you tell me what is going to be output. I just say comma here. Now before saying that answer, you just tell me which part is the condition, which part is the true, and which part is the false. There are three sections. There are three sections, right? So what is the condition?
4 greater than 3.
Yeah, this is the condition. and this is the true part, and this is the false part. So if I execute this, what is going to be written?
Yeah.
A, right? Now if I just change this one, 4 is less than 3, so now what is going to return? Got it clear? So this is the same thing we are
So I
doing.
have one question. So if it is condition is to assume that in the true part, if you are having two statements, will that be possible?
The nested if you are saying.
Nested? No. So if, for example, if 4 greater than 3, okay, so then it will go into the true part. So you have to print A and A plus 5, say something like that.
You have to print A and
A plus 5.
We just put in the curly braces both of the things in the curly, because if you are going to return multiple things, just put within the curly braces, and here you can say whatever, right? Let's say D, and here you say E. Okay, next return B and E.
Okay, fine. Now I got it also. Yeah.
You got it, right? Okay.
So my question is actually, when you are having multiple statements, multiple actions to be performed when in true part, how it will be considering to what it will be performed at the true part. Now I got it. So we have to separate it by using curly braces, right?
So curly, if you provide in the curly braces, it means you are going to return multiple things within it.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So that is what we are happening. We are doing it here. If it is null and all, so we are doing these things, right? Now let's go and see. I'll just say RAVI. Come on.
Ravi, can't we have multiple conditions in one if condition?
That is called nested if, right? So yeah, you can have a nested if.
No, nested if is different. Nested if is like what we wrote now.
Yeah, multiple conditions is also fine. Yeah, you can do that. Okay, let me tell you that as well. Better clear that all doubts. Now I want to check two things. So 4 is less than 3, and also check that 1 is greater than 2. Okay, I'm trying to check two conditions. Now these are the two conditions, but if will fail, right? Because if requires only 3 parameters, but now here become 4. So what we have to do, we have to bind this condition in the AND operator or the OR operator. So now it becomes one condition, right? See, both are true, then only this will get executed. Now you tell me what is the condition it is going to display.
It's B. It should be B.
Right? Now if I fail this one, I say 4 is okay, 4 is less than, I'll just say 5. Now I tell you what is going to be displayed.
Both are false.
Both are false, right?
So second one is false. Second one is false. So B will be resolved.
Okay. Now if I say
the same way for R as well, right? So instead of AND, we should put R.
Yeah, we can also put OR. Now if I say 4 is less than 5, 1 is less than 2, then what is the output?
AD.
Okay. Now instead of AND, I just say OR, and here I'll just make one change. I'll just say 4 is greater than 5. Now tell me which is going to be output.
It will be always like yeah, AD.
AD only, right? Because it's a OR condition and one of them is satisfying. That's why it is getting this result. Now if I make this as a 1 is greater than 1 second. 4 is greater than 5, 1 is greater than 2. Now if both are false, right? Both are false. If both are false, then it is going to this part. Okay. So you can put multiple conditions as well. All right.
Yeah.
Clear?
Yes.
Okay. So that's why
the same multiple conditions we can put in this expression as well, right?
Everywhere you can put.
No, in this case, like we have two if conditions, right? One is to check null and other is to check clear with.
Yes.
So both
yes,
we can combine and do that, right?
you can combine with the AND operator and then do that. But that will, what will happen? Why? I'll tell you why I haven't given that. In that
No,
case,
we can give not null of first name and clear with.
yeah, so that's what I'm saying. We can do that, but why we are not doing that? Because if we do all those conditions at the same time using AND operator or operator, the code will get into this and then say local first name is null and you are trying to evaluate this. So that's why we have to first restrict the user to come to this condition, because if user is not, when the screen load, it will be null, and by that time user will this will try to evaluate this thing, and when it will try to do that, it will say the clean with function is getting null. Okay, so that's why we have to restrict them before getting into this code, because this is not supposed to be null if you are using within the clean with function. So that's why we are using nested if. This is called nested if. So we are first checking if this is null, do not perform anything. If it is not null, then only perform these things. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So now I put Ravi 01 and click outside. So it is waiting for me to click outside to get this validation. So there is one more thing that we can see, that is called refresh after. You see in the text field we have a parameter called refresh after. So if you will be getting refresh after. So there, if you want to know what is the possible values for refresh after, so we have unfocus and key press. So I want to perform this one on the key press. As soon as user will type it, start typing, this should be do the validation. So now if this is the initial screen, I'll start RAVI. Why it is giving me error straight away?
This is not strip width, I think.
Once again, this is what we did, right? So we are using the clean with function. I'm passing this one. This is false, right? This is what we have implemented here. Clean with. Once again, the clean with the local first name. This thing. This should be false. If this is false, then come here, right? Okay, let me try the 01. No, there's something wrong, guys. It is not considering because it is taking true for both of them. Okay, let me just do this thing. I'll add the ampersand. It is saying 4. How come it can say 4?
I think earlier it was working fine. Just remove that refresh after key pass and then see if it's.
No, the refresh after is not an issue. It says that it is returning 4. Why it will return 4? Because 5. All right, let me just take this thing and check. So give me just 1 second. I'm just trying to see why it is behaving like this way. Huh. It has nothing, right? You see, it's first name, after that it displays nothing. Now
Do one thing. So can you are printing right? Align with that. Just append that. Remove that clear with and just print local first name. Just print local first name.
This is the local first name, right? You can see the local first name
No,
here.
that's fine. Whatever you are giving, that's fine. But whatever it is taking, that you need to see, right? Just keep that ampersand clear with. Just remove that clear with and keep only the local first name.
That is what it is here.
Yeah.
It's a Ravi only, right? Why is behaving like this. 1 second, I'll say now clean width and 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
You have to use double quotes. The 0.
No, I need the it's wrong place here. Just says null. Okay, I'll say 0, 1, 0, 1. Okay, I can do one more thing. If instead of this, I'll say is null. If it is null or not. If it is null, then okay, got it. Let me do that here. Remove this code. I'll say the true part. If it is null, then do not display any validation message. Else display the validation message. Okay. Instead of length of that one, I'm just checking if this function is returning me any value or not. If it is returning any value, then we can check is null parameter. If it is null, it means nothing is there, and then else it will display the message. Any doubt here? Let me clear it again. If I remove 0, 1, the message is gone. If I add 0, 1, it's coming.
Please provide valid first name, right? What is that? Is that a message?
Yes, validation message.
Is that error message or message?
Not validation message. I mean, we are restricting the user to providing any text field. I mean, number integer to the first name. So if we do so, if there are any validation, then we can restrict the user to click on the search button or submit button on the screen. So this is a way how do we display the validation on the screens.
Yeah.
For example,
where are we telling this is an error message or a message, whatever it is? It can be a label, right? Or it can be just orphan object. Where are we telling that this should?
No, this we are telling within the text field. So this validation message for this particular text field, right? So we have a parameter called validation within the same text field. We have not created any other object. It's one of the parameter for the same text field.
So the validation is a delivered function.
Yep. You just have to give the condition. It will throw the validation according to your condition.
Okay.
Okay. Same way, it's going to overtime, but let's do the same thing. One more thing for this DOB. If I say validation, I'll say if my local DOB is greater than today. If there's a function called today, which gives the today's date, right? What do you mean by that? A date of birth cannot be future date, right? Cannot be future date. Else null. Right? I just given this validation. Okay. To date, because it's a local variable, right? So we have to convert this to a to date. Now, if I go here and provide any date for, like, say 2nd of February, you see, so DOB cannot be a future date. So every validation for each field we can put within them. So there's a validation parameter which does that. We just have to give the proper condition and then it will work. Okay. Any doubt, guys? All right. If you have any doubt, implement all those things, come tomorrow and then we can clear it out. Okay.